Hello, today is 6/17 of 24, and I am bringing you a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. Today I am eating my first meal around 12 o'clock. Um, and I'm going to be making, this is actually a recipe that I would have made pre-keto. The only change that I have to make is to change the tortilla to a low net carb tortilla. I am making jalapeno popper quesadilla. So I'm using a Mission Carb Balance flour tortilla, one of the bigger ones. I'm making essentially it's half of a quesadilla. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half just because I really think that's about all I can eat. Okay, so I got some cream cheese and I thought I bought whipped cream cheese so it would be easier to spread, but I did not. So I'm just going to try and get this spread out all over. Okay, I think that's probably good. And then I want to, I'm actually gonna, this, I want to chop up my bacon. And I think I want to use, I'm gonna say 3 slices of bacon. And then I'll just spread that out. Quesadilla. That now seems like a lot of bacon, but that's okay. I like bacon, it's not a problem. This isn't gonna be like a high calorie meal, so. And then I have my jalapeno, which is why I'm wearing my gloves, because you should always wear gloves when working with a hot pepper. And I'm going to use half of my jalapeno. You could leave the seeds and the membrane in. That will give it more spice, but I don't like that. That's too much spice for me. I do like some spice, but it's too much for me to have that membrane and the seeds in. So I am going to get rid of those. And I am going to kind of finely dice this just because I don't want to have like big bites of this jalapeno. I want to have like smaller bites of it. I don't want it to kind of overwhelm my palate. So I am slicing this pretty thin. And I'm warming up my quesadilla maker. You could make these like on your stovetop too. But the quesadilla maker is so easy and like it crisps them so nicely. It's really nice. We use it often. Or at least my kids use it often. I could also add some diced green chilies. I like to add those in sometimes to like my jalapeno items. But I'm not going to do that today. All right, so I'm going to get that on there. And then the last thing I need, I'm going to try and move this over so you can kind of see what I'm doing a little better, is my cheese. So I'm just using a sharp cheddar cheese. I really prefer to have like a smoked Gouda or like something with a really strong flavor. That's what I like to have in my jalapeno items. I probably shouldn't be touching this with my jalapeno hands. But this is what I have available, so it's kind of like the strongest cheese that I have available to me right now. I did not like think about the cheese when I was placing my grocery order. Okay, and then I'll just fold this over and get this into my warmed up quesadilla maker. Go. My quesadilla is done. And a little tip, these are actually easiest to clean when they're still hot. Okay, so I'm just going to cut me some triangles. Hot. Go. And I actually like to kind of put them up on the side so that the flat bottom isn't just kind of like sitting on the bottom of my plate and thus like kind of getting soggy because the condensation is like there and then it has no place to go. So I do like to kind of like lift them up. All right, let's give these a try. It's gonna be hot. Mm. Oh yeah, that's delicious. I am back for my second meal of the day. It is almost 4 o'clock. And I found the other day, I went to Target when I was hungry, and so I bought some stuff. But it's not bad. So I have this, it's Kevin's Natural Foods, teriyaki style beef. His, or their maybe, products are geared toward the paleo diet, which is very similar to the keto diet, except you can have more carbs, which obviously, you can't in keto. And then they are more focused on protein rather than fat. So in one serving of this teriyaki beef, there are 9 carbs, so it's a little high, but well within my range, so it's going to be just fine. And then 20 protein and 4 fat. So for me, that's really good. Like I said, I'm really trying to get my protein to 100 grams a day, so that's going to be great to have 20 grams of protein in this meal. So one serving is 5 ounces, so it's about a third of this container, which I've never used one. So I don't quite know what it's going to look like inside, but I am excited to try it. I did actually get 3 of these, but not the same like dish. So I'll grab the other 2. So I got roasted garlic chicken and I got Korean barbecue style chicken. So on these 2, they're actually more keto friendly in that this one has 7 grams of carbs per serving, and I dropped it. And this one has 3 grams of carbs for the serving. So I'm excited to try each one of these also. But today I'm going to try the teriyaki beef. And I'm going to top it with some cucumber and some mint, and I crushed some peanuts also. So I'm going to put those on top too. All right, let's get cooking. All right, so the instructions for this say to heat a skillet. So I'm going to heat that onto a medium high. And then I'm supposed to just like put this in here and sear it. I don't know if I'm supposed to drain it or not. Oh, I need a tablespoon of oil. And I do need to drain it. Okay, so it seems like there's not really a whole lot in here. It says to kind of massage it. I'm going to turn that off just because I'm not putting anything in there for a bit. To kind of massage it, to break the meat up a little bit. So that's what I'm doing. I hurt my arm yesterday, well, my wrist. When I went roller skating, I fell down and hit my wrist. So I'm wearing a protective guard. All right, so then I'm just going to cut it open and pour it into my colander to drain it. Okay, and then want to show you what it looks like. It looks a little different. Okay, so that's what it looks like. I guess I probably didn't break it up very well. Okay, so then I need to add a tablespoon of olive oil to my pan. And turn my heat on again to a medium high. My numbers go from 1 to 7. I'm going to put mine on a 4.5. And I'm going to grab myself a mixing spoon. And I'm just going to let that heat up. It only needs to sear for a couple of minutes. So I'm going to be ready to do my slicing of my dicing of my cucumber and my mint also. All right, so I'm going to put this in the pan and then I guess break it up. So it says that this is sous vide. That's how they cook it, which means that they put it in a bag and then boil the bag. And that's what sous vide is. All right, so I guess I'll just let that cook for a couple minutes. And like I said, I'm gonna take care of my mint and my cucumber. So I think I'll just use maybe 3 leaves of my mint. Oh, it smells so good when you rip it like that. It smells wonderful. All right. I'm just gonna kind of bunch it together and then run my knife through. And go the other direction. All right, there we go. I think they're supposed to be like strips of beef, but they're kind of hard to break apart into those strips. And so I'm really just, it says to sear it, so it's like you're looking to like brown it and get it broken apart too, obviously. But it is already cooked, so I'm not looking to like cook it. I'm just looking to kind of get it seared. All right, so I'll use about this much of my cucumber. And I'm going to dice it. You have to be careful with these foods like tomato and cucumber that have a lot of liquid in them because they are difficult to slice. If you stack them up, then they kind of want to slide all over because of all that liquid. Okay, so that looks good. These seem like they're warming up. I do need to add the sauce to the pan. So I'm going to get that in there. And get it all mixed around. I think that the majority of those carbs are going to come from this sauce. So, I think if I just don't put a lot of sauce on my plate, that's going to probably be good. I'm not sure that one of their servings is going to be enough. It could be if I was eating it with maybe some konjac noodles or something else, but I think really like half of the package is really what I want to use as like a serving for myself. So I think I will just help avoid too many carbs by not putting as much sauce on the plate, because it does say when serving to like add the sauce from the pan on top. And I won't do that. I'll just take whatever sauce, kind of comes out with my meat. And this is done, so I'm ready to get this in my bowl. Like I said, I think I'm just going to eat about half of it. I think that's about right. Okay, and then my peanuts. And my mint. And my cucumbers. Okay, I'm gonna give this a try. I want to start out by just eating the meat because I want to be able to kind of like give a review of this product, right? Hmm. I'm pleasantly surprised at how tender that meat is. And it's not all dried out. So it is really good. The sauce is good too. I do like it. I can definitely taste the sugar in it, probably because I just don't have sugar. So like I can really taste the sugar in it, but it's good. So let's see. I'm going to try it with my toppings that I so love with this kind of a meal. That's definitely good. Um, I think next time I might actually not use the cucumber. I think with this cut of meat, I love it with like a ground meat. I love the cucumber. But with this steak, I actually think I might want to do something different. I'm not exactly sure. Like maybe instead of cucumber, I'll use cilantro next time. I'm thinking, but we'll see. But it's still good, and I'm gonna enjoy my second meal. It is 5:30 and I am ready for my last meal of the day. I really am just trying to get some more protein in and to get my calorie count just up a little bit higher, not a lot. So I am going to make scrambled eggs with cottage cheese, which I have seen in some of the groups, and so I want to give it a try and see what it tastes like. And it'll have quite a bit of protein in it, so that's really what I need and what I want. So that's why I wanted to try this recipe now. In my pan, I have about a teaspoon of butter. So I'm going to turn my heat on to a medium, so a 4 out of 7. And I'm just going to let that start to melt. I'm going to use 2 eggs and 1/4 cup of the cottage cheese. Not a lot of people kind of put the ratios in like online when they uh, like make this recipe and then post about it. So I think this is what I saw on one post of like a suggestion of how much to use. But I don't remember if they said a 1/4 cup or a half cup. However, I know how much like 2 eggs is, and it seems like a half a cup of cottage cheese would just be like too much cottage cheese for the ratio of 2 eggs. So that's why I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the cottage cheese. All right, and then I'm just gonna get my eggs in my pan. And I know a lot of people when they make this, they blend the eggs and the cottage cheese together, usually using like a Ninja blender or something like that, like something small to like really get those mixed together. But I have seen those who haven't done that. They've just kind of mixed the cottage cheese in with the eggs. And I don't want to do the dishes of using my Ninja blender, so I'm not going to do that. I am just going to add the cottage cheese right in with my eggs and get them all mixed around. And I need to add a little bit of salt and pepper. I don't want to add a ton of salt because cottage cheese in and of itself is a little salty, but I do want to add just a little. So I've got that, and then pepper. I do like quite a bit of pepper in my eggs. And I don't like browned eggs, so I like to keep my eggs moving so that they stay not sitting in one spot. So really they're not staying. So they don't sit in one spot and get browned. I've also seen lots of recipes using ricotta cheese instead of cottage cheese, and people saying that it's good. So I was thinking I might get some of that too and try some of those recipes. There's lots and lots of cottage cheese recipes out there. Unfortunately, because my oven isn't working right now, I can't try very many of them. But this is one that I can. It's interesting because I'm getting like there's like streaks like there's melted cheese. So like I don't know, that's just I mean I know cottage cheese is a cheese, but I don't think of it as like something that like melts, you know? So it seems like I don't know, it's very interesting to me. I didn't know it would do that. Normally I like to keep my eggs a little wet. I don't want them to get all dried out, so they're a little wet when I cook them. I'm not sure how that's going to work though with this addition of cottage cheese. Like I feel like they're done, but it almost like when I stir them like it feels like an oatmeal. I'm not sure about this. We'll just have to see, I guess. All right, I'm gonna get these in a bowl and try them. It's kind of amazing. It really does taste like cheese. It tastes like eggs mixed with like a cheddar cheese, but it's not. It's cottage cheese. So I'm not a huge fan of like cheese mixed with egg. So I don't know that this is really like a recipe that I'll make very often, but it does taste good. I'm not like disgusted by it or anything, but it really tastes like eggs mixed with cheddar cheese. So I'll be able to eat it. It'll be just fine, but it's not going to be kind of like one of my go-to recipes. Let's see how my day turned out. So I had a good day today. I am very full after the eggs and cottage cheese. So my net carbs ended up being, or I should say, they ended up showing as 27 here in Fat Secret. But that's because when I enter the teriyaki beef that I had, I can only enter like it as a whole thing. So I entered 1.5 servings because that's how much meat I did eat. However, I didn't eat 1.5 servings of the sauce. I ate very, very little of the sauce. So I'm erring on the side of caution. I'm just going to cut the amount of carbs in half, which means that I only had 7 carbs instead of the 13 carbs that Fat Secret is showing as me having had in that meal. And it probably was less. It was probably like 3 net carbs. I really had very little of that sauce, but I'll err on the side of caution and only take off 7. So I think that my net carbs really landed around that 20 gram. The net carbs landed in that 20 gram range. My sodium looks good at about 3,000. And then I did get over 100 protein. So that is also fantastic. My fiber is high because I had that tortilla that is like a high fiber, low net carb tortilla. So my fiber is actually really, really good today. So that's my day today. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow.